It's 2025, and it's time to answer a question no one really wants to address. Is the SKX actually any good anymore? Now, I'm not saying, is it nostalgic? I'm not even asking if it's iconic. I'm truly wondering if this watch is any good by today's standards. Because I get it, this is a very orologically significant, historically important wristwatch, but why would you spend money on one in 2025, and should you even consider it? It is 1:38 p.m., let's get down to business. Okay, so let's be real. SKX, 3 letters, used to be enough to shut people up. I mean, the truth is, like, people would argue way back when, what's the best dive watch under $500, and everybody had their opinions, but you say 3 little letters, and the conversation was pretty much over. I mean, this is the big joke in the watch world, right? The Seiko SKX is the gateway drug to watch collecting. It used to be. Now there's much cooler gateway drugs, like fentanyl. But we've already spoken about this. I mean, the landscape as a whole has changed, and Seiko specifically very much has changed, and watch buyers have changed. So okay, let's go back in time a little bit. The Seiko SKX, kind of the big dog. It's on every top 5 watches under $500 list. It has automatic movement. It's in-house. It has a day date. Has an ISO rated case, a threaded crown. It's a legit dive watch with some really good lume. It makes sense why this was such a beloved watch and why it pretty much has a cult following. But even with that cult following, in 2025 now we're looking at a watch that has an automatic movement, but it's pretty rudimentary. It's not hacking or hand wind. The bezels and chapter rings may or may not be aligned depending on which one you get. Kind of a crapshoot. It's got a Hardlex crystal, so we're not even looking at sapphire, even though I actually... Hardlex is better than people give it credit for. And all of this, in today's market, you're seeing some go for over $1,000, which is, I mean... You tell me, does that sound reasonable? And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, on paper, there are certain things that are still very impressive about it. 200 meter water resistance rating with an ISO rated case, that's cool. But then you put that price tag on it in 2025 and it becomes very, very not cool. And again, when we look at things like, I don't know, from Citizen or from Casio or from any micro brand we've taken a look at here on this channel, you realize you can get more for the money than an SKX. So why is this watch still popular enough that people are clamoring to find one affordably in 2025? Well, the truth is, again, it is kind of iconic and historically, orologically significant, and it is a decent watch when you factor in the original price tag. And we have to give this some credit. This pretty much kickstarted the modding community. I mean, the SKX is really kind of the OG platform, canvas, if you will, when it comes to watch modding and that whole hobby, which is another niche offshoot, of orology. But here's the honest truth. If you do want an ISO-rated diver that is from Seiko, like it has to be from Seiko, I would tell you to get the King Turtle. Okay, that's probably their best watch that is still kind of... I'll say the old guard of Seiko, where you're getting a lot for the money. You can find those brand new around $400. With that watch, you're getting a better movement than this. You're getting a 4R with hacking and hand wind. It's still ISO rated, still has pretty much the same specs as far as, water resistance rating, threaded crown. It's just a better, kind of more modernized watch. Now, speaking of modernized watches, chances are in the next 5 years, Seiko is going to get it in their head that the SKX deserves a reissue. Now, the thing is, they're going to stamp a Prospex logo on it, and they're going to charge over $1,000 for it. Probably, I'm going to say closer to $2,000. They're going to give it a sapphire crystal. They're going to give it, like a 6R movement, maybe. And it will be technically a better watch than this OG SKX, but it still will not be worth the money they're asking. Kind of like this SKX. So is the Seiko SKX a good watch in 2025? In my personal and professional opinion, from like a value standpoint, when we're looking at the specs and comparing it to the money people are asking, I say no, it's not. Because again, if you want an ISO rated diver from Seiko with a threaded crown and a 200-meter water resistance rating and great loom, just get that turtle that I mentioned. But in spite of that fact, how it's probably not a good watch in 2025, you can't deny that there's something about this watch that's still very relevant today. It's raw, it's kind of, well, literally analog. It's not trying to be something that it's not. It's rough around the edges, and it works. So even though the SKX in 2025 is probably not worth the money most sellers are asking for it now, this watch still seems to be perfectly imperfect. And if you are looking for one, I honestly think you should probably try to scoop one up at a reasonable price before Seiko tries to do a reissue. It just so happens I am selling this one, by the way, so you can email info@thetimetellershop.com if you want it, and I'm not asking a price anywhere near some of these crazy resellers. I'm selling this one very, very affordably for you guys. So do you think the SKX is a good watch in 2025, or do you agree with me that there are probably some better options out there? Leave me that comment, and I will see you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.